I guess the longer I live here, the more I should know about Lithuania's political landscape. Even if I'm not yet eligible to vote, I think it's good for myself and the broader public to know about the people and groups that make decisions that affect their daily lives. With this in mind, I thought I would try to educate myself and make a video about the political parties of Lithuania. So let's get started. As part of this video, I originally wanted to try and make sense of Lithuania's electoral system. But the more and more I read into it, the more I feel like it's just a little too complicated for me to understand and then simplify and re-explain in video format. Maybe I'll try someday in the future, but I think my graphics abilities just aren't good enough to do what I would want to in order to explain things. Nonetheless, you should know that people in Lithuania vote for members of parliament, or Seimas. They vote for one person that represents their own geographical voting district, and there are 71 of these single-seat districts. Then there are 70 more members elected according to proportional representation in what is called a multi-member constituency. This one is a bit hard for me to get my mind around without having gone through the voting process myself, but I guess at the end of the day, there are 141 elected members of Seimas. If I understand correctly, there are a few stipulations and thresholds and even multiple rounds of voting associated with Seimas elections. With all of these additional procedures, I'm happy just to look at the political parties for this video. So the basis of my research comes from this graphic I found on Reddit titled Lithuanian Politics in a Nutshell. It lists 7 parties: the Homeland Union, Lithuanian Christian Democrats, or TSLKD, the Lithuanian Farmers and Greens Union, the Liberal Movement, the Social Democratic Party of Lithuania, or LSDP, the Democrats on Behalf of Lithuania, or Democr Vos, the Freedom Party, LSDP, and finally the Electoral Action of Poles in Lithuania, Christian Families Alliance. Not included in this chart are the Lithuanian Green Party and the Party of Freedom and Justice. So I'm basically going to retell the opinion of this chart. I'm not stating it as a fact, but I guess for me it's a good starting point to get a sense of how, well, at least one person sees the current state of Lithuanian politics. So based on the results of the 2020 election, it looks like the Homeland Union and the Lithuanian Farmers and Greens Union are the most popular in the country. In Lithuanian, the TSLKD is known as the Tėvynės Sąjunga Lietuvos Krikščionys Demokratai. According to whoever made this graphic, the Homeland Union is mostly made up of people with liberal values, despite being labeled a conservative or center-right party. The TSLKD is apparently a party that always manages the government during crises. I was told that they do solve problems, even if their solutions aren't perfect. However, because their decisions are tough decisions, people get mad and then decide not to vote for them for 1 or 2 elections after. So I guess it could be said that they are the best from the worst, at least in some people's opinions. The other big party, as mentioned, is the Farmers and Greens Union, or Lietuvos Valstiečių ir Žaliųjų Sąjunga. A Lithuanian journalist once described this party as the mixture of the extreme left in economic matters and the extreme right in some social issues, all spiced up with an anti-establishment rhetoric of radical change. It's apparently not actually green, as their name might suggest, as the graphic says that the party is run by the biggest farmers in Lithuania who pollute nature the most. Perhaps jokingly, or an exaggeration, the graphic says that the party is made up of oligarchs who cry when seeing a gay man. Someone I talked to added that they are low-key pro-Russia and pro-China, with basically no morals and are only concerned about money. The next party is the Liberals movement, or Liberalų Sąjūdis, which is labeled as center-right. The graphic goes on to say that the Liberal Party once had a major corruption scandal, but has been liberal and progressive since getting rid of the most corrupt members in the party. One person I talked to adds that the Liberals are liberal, mostly in economic terms, but not so much in social terms. Their average age is quite high at this point, suggesting that they hold on to some conservative values. They're considered by some to be a decent party that for a long time played a supporting role for the TSLKD. Next up, it's LSDP, or the Freedom Party, which is apparently the most progressive and most green party of them all. As the graphic says, they want to legalize cannabis. Wikipedia states that these are some of the main points of the party's platform: no new taxes, legalizing same-sex marriage, carbon neutrality by the year 2040, decriminalizing drugs, having the possibility to perform military service as civilian service, and recognizing the statehood of Taiwan as a country separate from the People's Republic of China. When it comes to the reforms, it might be more accurate to say that they tried to introduce more progressive reforms over the past 30 years, but very few of these reforms have actually passed through Seimas. Someone told me that the experience and occasional naive idealism are their main issues. At the same time, many of their members are strong in one issue or subject, but weak in others. Then there's two smaller parties, Democr Vos, which call themselves an open, center-left political force, and also state that they are focused on creating a welfare state that increases the distribution of the country's gross domestic product and involves the public in the development of a participatory budget. The other party is the LSDP. Having Marxist roots, the LSDP calls itself a center-left party as well. However, according to the graphic, the LSDP is a party full of fake social democrats who have old party members that are former communists. I guess they're quite well known for criticizing the government all the time. Perhaps the most interesting group is this last one, called the Electoral Action of Poles in Lithuania, Christian Families Alliance. The graphic labels them as pro-Russian Poles who, I guess to put it nicely, are very loyal to Putin. As is clear just by looking at their logo, this group is center-right or even full right-wing. Well, compared to Canadian politics, I still feel like I know next to nothing about Lithuanian politics. Making this video does give me a general idea of the main parties, but it seems like the names of the parties don't always match up with their actual position on the political ideological spectrum. I'm more than certain that many of you watching will disagree with at least some of the points I've listed. That's totally fine with me, since I know that politics is so incredibly opinionated and potentially a touchy subject. But I guess for all the Lithuanians watching, it's a good opportunity for you to comment down below and tell me how you see things and which points are accurate and which are inaccurate. I know I still have a lot to learn, so I look forward to reading what you have to say. And for the Lithuanian word of the day, let's go with the verb to vote, which is balsuoti. Balsuoti. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.